Alright, boys and girls, let's talk Django. First of all, Django is a powerful web framework with a relatively simple learning curve. Again, I'm following a book in which I'm trying to learn more about Django, and the book's named Django 3 by Example. Build, apologies, Django 3 by Example, build powerful and reliable Python web applications from scratch. So, again, as you know, I don't like theory at all, so I'm just gonna skip the boring parts. So what is Django? Django is a web framework. I already know this. All right, let's see if we can install Django. Django. I have these profiles here, but I'm gonna keep this one. Let me just reduce the size of it. Maybe put it aside so you can see my. I think this is AI generated. Maybe I should change my wallpaper. I don't like AI generated stuff. So, Python. Python not found. Python 3. So we have 3.12, which is our. First of all, we have Python installed on our machine, but 3.12 is our current version. So if our Python version is slower than 3.6, please install a newer one. Maybe 3.8.2. All right, so what else it says? Because we are using Python 3, we don't need to install a database. Amazing. All right, let me just exit this. Oh, exit as a function. Oh, let's create learning Django 3. I hate it. All right. Now, we need to create a virtual environment because we need to have our own independent set of Python packages, and each environment is actually storing these set of packages. It's collecting, it's like a bucket of packages that we can use for every project that we have. Righty, so I can do Python. I don't have Python, I have Python 3. Venv, I'm gonna call it Mayan. Okay. Now, this has create add. If I type ls is list. So this has created a mayan directory, which will contain our Python environment. And any Python libraries we install while our virtual environment is active will go inside this directory. I don't know if we can see anything here. So lib, our Python version, site packages. I don't think there's anything here. There's big pony. Okay, okay. Now let's activate it. Source, my environment, bin, activate. If our environment name is here inside braces, parentheses, and it should be enclosed inside it, we know that we are currently running an active virtual environment. So we can deactivate it, or I think even exit. Okay, exit. Exit is not the command we are looking for. Okay. But bin. There's also other commands that allow us not to run these specific, to type these specific folders, but for now on, I don't think this is this important. Now, what do we have here? So first of all, maybe I can write some of these informations. So what we have? We have virtual environments, and we will talk about pip now. So the pip is a package management system, and it's used mostly to install packages in our Python projects. And in this certain case, we will install it. We'll use it to install Django. Django 3.0. I don't even know what's the latest version of Django. Let me check. Can I open this? Oh, it's empty. So it's just keeping track of it. Oops, I forgot to. Maybe now. Maybe. Okay, let's. I had my screen over. I had my tablet screen over my laptop screen the whole time. Apologies. So one more time. So let me just tell you what I did. I ran the tree command, which shows me the structure of my project. I have the manage py. Let me just see if I did. I have the manage py file, which is a command line utility, which is used to interact with our project. We don't need to edit it right now. We have our project directory. Now our project directory contains the following files: __ init.py. It's an empty file. It tells Python to treat the my site directory as a Python module. Oh, just a thing that I have to remind you of. I have run pip. Maybe I can find it like here. Yeah, pip install Django 5.2.1. The book is following a version of 3 point something, and I'm using this one. So I'm hoping there won't be any major differences between, or even if there are, I think it's gonna be a great opportunity for us to learn how different instances of Django are behaving. So let me just run tree again. What else do I have here? This is asynchronous web servers and application, and this is the configuration to run our project as asynchronous. We have settings.py, which indicates settings and configurations for our project and contains initial default settings. We have URLs, which is the place where our URL patterns live, and each URL defined here is mapped to a view. What else do we have? Do I even have URLs? Okay, so each URL defined is mapped to a view, and we have also the original configuration to run our application as a web server gateway interface application, or WSGUI. Settings.py. It's actually quite interesting because it contains the project settings, including, if I now search here, including a basic configuration to use an SQLite database. And we also should have, a list named installed apps that contain common Django applications that are added to our project by default. We will look over them later on, but that's it. What else can we mention here? What else do we have? So we can also have models. Models are mapped to a database table. What are models? Models are just data models. They are ways in which we describe real-life objects. We can manage models by running our migration script. So if I move, I'm here already. Python, I think this should be 3, manage py, migrate. Will this work? It works. And now we have generated something else. First of all, if you notice, we have here a couple of lines of code, which are the database migrations that are applied by Django. And by applying migrations, we actually have the tables for our first applications are created in the database. But let's leave this on side for now. So if I now run manage py, run the server, this is the way we run our application. Where are you? Here. I can open you. If I show you here, the install worked successfully. Congratulations. View release notes for Django 5.2. What even is there in Django 5.2? So there's a lot of changes. So what's the difference between 3.0 and 3.1? All right, we have some async views. What else is interesting? What's new in Django 4? Time zones, unique constraint. A lot of interesting stuff. Let's not bother ourselves with it right now. So we are running the development server. And our development server reloads automatically because it keeps looking for changes in our code base. And if you take a look here, because we have inside our console, you can see actually all of our actions that we performed, and each HTTP request is logged in the console by the development server. And any possible errors that we might get will also be displayed here as well. All right. One more thing to notice here. When we run python manage py run server, this command, we are using Django's built-in development server, which is great for quick testing, local development, and debugging. But it's not suitable for production because I think it's single-threaded. It doesn't handle high traffic. There are some security concerns, and it's not optimized for speed. So Django is actually leaving us a warning here. This is a development server. Do not use it in production setting. Use a production server instead. Now, we have production servers such as web server gateway interfaces or asynchronous gateway interfaces. In order to serve Django apps in production, we need a real web server that speaks the right protocol. So Django is both WSGI and ASGI compatible framework. So it needs to be run inside one of these servers. And some common servers for web server gateway interfaces is Unicorn. I think Unicorn. Also, we can also run a synchronous server gateway interface, which is a newer version of WebSocket gateway interfaces. And it allows us for WebSockets, background tasks, and even async views. So basically what this means is, okay, currently we are running our toy server. If we are going to production, and we will go, we need to pick a real web server like Unicorn or UVcorn and connect it to Django properly. We'll talk about this in the future, but for now, that's the only things we need. Now, let's open the settings py file and take a look at the configuration of the project. So what do we have here? We have debug. Debug is a Boolean flag that turns the debug mode of the project on and off. If it's true, we are getting detailed error messages when exceptions are caught. When we move to a production environment, we should set it to false. What else do we have? We have allowed hosts. We have installed apps. Yeah, actually, let's start from the beginning. What do we have here? This is the base directory of our project. It's used to build paths. This is the current file, and we are going 2 times to the parent, so we are going inside test project, and we are going inside the parent project as well. We have security settings such as the secret key, which is used for syncing cookies, passwords, tokens. I'm gonna change this. I don't care about this right now. because if someone gets the hold of this key, they can do some nasty things to us. Okay, the debug I already told it. Allowed hosts, which is a list of host names or IPs that our site is allowed to run on. We have a list of all the installed apps, which is a list of all apps installed in our project. Currently, we only have core Django apps like admin, out, and what else? Static files. What else do we have? Middleware. Middleware is a chain of logic that will run on every request and response. And we have here security middleware that adds HTTPS and other headers. We have session middleware, enables sessions. We have, what else we have? CSRF middleware, protects against CSRF attacks. Authentication middleware attaches the logged in user to each request. These middlewares will wrap around our views like layers of the onion, which is, I think, the best description of this. What else do we have? This is the main URL routing file. We have templates, which configures Django's HTML rendering system. What else? What do we have here actually? We have the Django's template engine, extra template folders. These are empty. Context processors. All right, we don't need this. Okay, this is the entry point for our production servers like Unicorn. We have also our database here. We use SQLite by default. It's simple and file-based for now. What else do we have? Password validators. What do we have here? Minimum, common password, numeric password. We have some localization strings, and I think that's it. I don't think we need to mention anything else. Now, let's create our first Django application. So I'm going up here and I'm gonna run the following: manage py, start app, blog. Can't open. Why? I need to go here and here, and now I have blog. And now here I have also a couple of interesting files. What do we have here? We have, let me also open it here as well. Blog, oops, blog, I don't need this. I have the migrations folder, which is the directory that contains database migration of our applications. We have admin.py, which is the place where we register our model to include them in the Django administration site. Apps include the main configuration of the blog options of the blog application. We have models. Here we will create data models for our application. What else? We have tests, of course, tests. Here we can add tests for our application, and we have views, which contains the logic of our application. All right, so as I already mentioned, we have generated, let me open this, we have generated a new Django application. We ran the command for starting a new application with the basic structure. Let me just open the terminal. Here, yes. Yeah, this is the structure of our application. As I already mentioned, we have these files that we will mention and work with later on. But first of all right, so we need to create a new model. A model is a class in Django that defines the structure of our database tables. So when we write something like class post, let me just maybe put it here as an example. When we put something like this, we are telling Django, hey, I want a database table called post, and here, we will do this later, is what each column or field should look like. So why do we use the models.py file? Each Django app, like our blog application, comes with this models.py file. Here we define the data structure for our models for that app. We don't put it in views py or URLs py because these serve different purpose. We will come to this later, but we need to write our models inside models py. So let's start writing it, and maybe I'll break up the code as I write it. Okay, we already have models. What else do we need to import? From Django.utils import time zone. We will need this from Django country models import user. Models with models we can use Django's database features out of the box. Time zone handles time zone awareness dates, and user is again a built-in user model for authentication. Django makes this simpler out of the box, so you can use it, so we don't need to create this logic ourselves. Okay, so the first guy will be a post models, not manager, a model. What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? I only want this. Okay, this will create a database table which will be called post, but without fields we can't do anything. We can't do anything. So what we will have here, status, choices, draft, published. This will just define the list of predefined choices for the status field, which we will use most probably in a drop down in our forms. But all right, let's continue. So we create a title. It's of type jar field, which is a short text. We set a length, maximum length. All right. Next, we create a slug, which is a URL-friendly version of the title. So if our title is my first post, the slug will be something like my first post. Okay, we have the author as well. This is a more, it seems complex, but it's not. Basically, we try to link each post to a user or the author. So we are using the author as a foreign key. What else do we have? We have on delete cascade, which means if the user is deleted, their posts have been as well. Related name blog posts. This allows us to use user.blogposts.all. Like if we want to navigate on the user, we could do something like this. But not right now. What else do we need? Let's create a body. Let's create a couple of time-based properties, like when it's published. No, this needs to be like here. when it's published, when it's created, when it's updated. So publish is by default. Now created will be set only once when we create the post. Updated will be updated every time the post is saved. What else do we have? Oh, the status. Again, we have a character field, we have a max length of 10. We have a couple of choices, which are the status choices, and we have our default choice, which is draft. Now, we also create a new class called meta, which tells Django to sort posts by publish date, descending. Basically meaning that the newest ones come first. The meta class usually will contain metadata. All right. Let me also create a string method on self. Gonna return the title. Now, we updated our model, but Django won't know about our blog application until we register it. So what we need to do is we need to go to test projects. I think it's here, settings py. Then we go to installed apps and I add our newest app here. Blog apps blog config. Well, this line of code will point Django to the apps.py file inside our blog folder, where Django gets metadata about our application. So it's blog config. Basically, if you don't know why it's blog, because the blog is the name of our project, apps as in apps.py, and the blog config because this is the class that we have here. Okay, first let's talk about the Django migration system. The Django migration system is Django's way of managing changes to your database schema over time. The big idea is that we define our database structure in models.py, but Django needs a way to translate this structure into real SQL commands that our database understands. And it also needs a way to track changes to those models. That's why we use migrations, basically, because a migration is a record, a history record of the structure of our database. So a migration will track changes to models. It will let us apply those changes safely to our actual database. And it works like version control, but for the schema itself, not the data. So let's run then the initial migration here. Where's my terminal? Where's my terminal? Here. So the initial migration will basically look like this. Python manage dot. I need Python 3. I should create an alias. I just don't. Where am I? I need to go back. Python 3 manage.py make migrations block. And I have a bug. No module name Django. I need to run my environment. Python 3. No, it's source. My env bin activate test project, and now if I rerun this command, it should work. It doesn't work again. Why? Choices must be a mapping of factual values to human readable names or iterable containing actual value human readable names. It's a bug. It's a nice bug. Oh, okay, so it runs. So I think I just mistyped this tuple here. Okay, so I created my model. I run the migration script, actually not the migration script, I run the make migration, which actually says, okay, look at all my models. If anything changed, new model, new field, make a migration file for it. And a lot of things have changed. We have a new class here. So we actually need to create a migration file for this. And then if we run Python, manage py, migrate, we are actually applying this migration, applying those changes to the actual database now. So if I open the migrations file here, and if I open 001 initial.py, after running make migrations, Django will create this file, which is a migration script. It contains instructions for how to build a database table for a model. And what do we have? We have operations, we have migrations.create model, this is the name of the model, we have fields, and a lot of other metadata. Basically, we can open this file and understand exactly what Django will do to the database. All right, so that's it basically. We need first to run make migrations, which creates a Python file describing the changes, which is this, and then we need to migrate, which runs the file and applies changes to the database. And if we want to change or update or change our schema in the future here inside the models, we are just following the same process. We detect changes, we make migrations, then we migrate. All right, so let's talk about the Django admin, which is a built-in administration interface. It's a free auto-generated control panel for our app. When we define models, like post here, Django uses that model's metadata to dynamically generate forms for creating and editing content, tables for listing, filtering and searching items, controls for linking related objects and stuff like that. And we don't need to write any front-end HTML, CSS or JavaScript. Django handles it all. First, we need to actually create Python 3, manage py, create super user, username, yeah, let's use mine, email address, can I skip it, password, this password, I just typed test 1 2 3 4. Create user anyway, yes. So I just created a super user account. It is an admin level user. It can log to our localhost. So if I now run our application, you will see this, and our user has full permissions to do anything. So if I have Python 3, manage py, run server, and if I open this, and now if I go to admin here, and if I type my info, all right, let me just say this just in case. So here you see group and users, which are individual user accounts for users, and a named set of permissions like editor or moderators for groups. So if we click users, we will show all user accounts like the super user you just created. Yeah, like our super user here. And if we click groups, we can define permission presets that can be applied to users as well. So now let's register our model in the admin py. So if I open it, if I open admin py, if I import post, and here admin site register post, and now if I refresh this, will this work? We basically told Django, please include the post model in the admin dashboard so I can manage it. But where is the admin dashboard? Just a second. Ah, here it is. I most probably just had to reload it. Here we have the posts. So without adding it to the admin.py, our post model exists in the database. We run the migration, but we can't manage it through the admin panel. So maybe it's a good thing to add it here. So yeah, we went to admin and now we can see posts list under our app name. And now if I click add, I can have a title, new blog post, new blog post. I can select myself. I can do this. It's a draft, and if I click save, I have a new blog post here. Even though, is there an option to maybe give some more information here? So what has been done here? Django automatically generates a form, and this is the form based on our model. And Django looks at these fields and builds, as we said, text inputs for titles and slugs, date pickers for publishing. We have status of draft and publish, which is a dropdown. We also have an author, which we pick using a dropdown as well. So we can see our validation automatically, which is really good. We can link related fields like the author, again, automatically. And if a field has choices like here, this one, status, it renders a select box with our predefined options, which is really good, great. All right, let us now talk about, as I said, modifying this model so we can visually distinct it from other models. First thing first, let's go here. Let's go to, again, admin.py. Let me close the rest of these guys. So instead of this, I can write admin.register post class post admin model admin, and we can display some of these elements. Okay, now if I save it and if I refresh it here, what we basically did here is that we told Django, I want to customize how the post model appears in the admin panel. And how we did this is we created a new class, post admin, and post admin inherits from model admin. Instead of just registering it, we created a decorator here, which is a cleaner way to register the model using our custom admin class. So we can basically remove this piece of code. And then we have list display, which actually the thing it does is once we go to the admin/blog/post, like here, we see a table of 4 blog posts, but containing these columns that we defined: title, slug, author, publish, status, title, slug, author, publish, and status. If we didn't do this, I think it would we would see the same thing that we did beforehand, in which Django will just show one column, which is a stringified version of our title. Now we can fully customize our admin panel as well. So instead of this, let's add a couple of more properties here. List filters are adding a right sidebar filter, which allows us basically to filter posts by status, date, or author. We also have search fields, which enables a search bar at the top of the page. It enables full text search on the title and body fields. What else do we have? Pre-populated fields. This is cool, because pre-populated fields will autofill the slug property as we type the title. Row ID fields on the author, which replace the dropdown for selecting author with a search input, which is okay if we have a lot of authors. We have date hierarchy. It adds a date-based navigation bar at the top of the page, and also we have ordering by status or published, which control the default sort order in the admin list. First by status and then by published date. So now if we go back here and if I refresh it, we have a lot of new things here. Also, if I add a new post here, so I'm gonna have new blog post. Do you see how the slug is automatically filled in as we type the title? So here, the Duke Dev, can I select myself? Yes, body, new blog post 2, and if I save it, we have 2 blog posts here. Amazing.